weeks as a houseboat, and we were as refreshed as we have ever been.
The last few days at Midway Marina, we planned for our next challenge.
The first leg of our journey was an easy one, down the river to Columbus Marina through a few locks.
The second leg, from Columbus Marina to Demopolis, is 121 miles with no services of any kind.
The next leg, Demopolis to Mobile, is over 200 miles of wilderness with only one small outpost of civilization.
It is truly a trip through the wilderness. There are no towns, no cell service, and for the first 100 miles, very few anchorages.
Being daylight savings times, we had a small number of hours to run.
Throw in a transmission on its last legs, and we had a lot to worry about. Some of the things we could control, other things we could not.
We cataloged every possible anchorage and made our plans.
We took the Marina Mobile one last time to Food Giant and stocked up.
We woke up at 5 to call the Fulton Lock at 6. As we have come to expect with locks, there were delays piled on delays.
Good morning, Captain.
Good morning, Admiral Darina. And how are you this fine and beautiful November morning?
Wonderful.
So it's 7:29, about second week in November. It's really pleasant out here compared to home. And what we're doing is we are waiting for the Fulton Lock to open. They initially told us to call them at 6 in the morning and that they would probably be able to accommodate us. We called at 6. They said, no, we've got an upbound tow and barge we're processing. We can probably take you at 7. So we departed the dock with 5 other looper boats, and the lock said, oh gosh, sorry, there's another one. It's going to be an hour and a half. And one of the looper boats looked on AIS and didn't see the traffic, so he called the lockmaster. The lockmaster said, yeah, that's right, it'll be 7:30. So we were already out of the slip, and we decided to idle our way down the river, which is what we're doing now. And it looks like the tow isn't even in the lock yet. So we're about a mile away from the lock, and we're just ever so slowly idling our way down because that's easier than sitting in a circle. The Fulton Lock is 391 miles from the Cochrane Africatown, USA Bridge, which marks the end of the Tennessee Tombigbee Waterway. We still had a long ways to go.
The lock drops 25 feet and creates a 1,500 acres lake at the north end of the dam.
The clutch plates in the transmission are getting worse by the day. Watch this.
Alan makes a near-perfect approach to the bollard, inches off the wall and straight as an arrow.
Had I experienced locks before, I would have practiced running along a wall on both the port and starboard side before we left.
Alan reverses the boat, compensates for the centrifugal force with the wheel and the touch of the thruster. It's easy for me to snag the bollard.
In neutral and idling, and we're moving forward at 2 knots because of the transmission.
So the rope goes tight and it slams up against the wall.
And here we go. It's another squeaky one. Oh, here comes the barking.
It's 15 stated miles to the Glow-Weekend Lock from the Fulton Lock. Not since Julia, Illinois had we traveled with nice people.
I see who's on 6'9". This 50-year-old tug of ours does 6.5, 7 knots. So y'all are welcome to run down there at 10 or 12, but 6.5, 7 is all I can do.
Okay, this is C Club. We're running at about 7.9 right now. We can cut back a little if you want, over.
Roger that. That's as fast as I can pedal. On the way to the Glover Wilkins, the waterway widens a bit. Running just to the right of the channel, I ran hard aground. This Good Samaritan pulled us off the Sandbar. This is a very dangerous operation, and everybody needs to be very alert. In this case, the angle needed to pull us off, but the weight of the boat on the bowsprit, which could have easily been ripped off.
In this situation, Alan takes firm command. His whole manner changes.
I've seen a line snap under load. They whip back at you at an incredible speed. The 10 Tom drops a total of 341 feet between Grand Harbor and Mobile, Alabama.
There are 10 locks in this stretch. It feels like many, many more.
In this lock, the doors leaked badly. It was hard not to think about what would happen if the doors let go.
I try not to think about it.
We made our way southbound with the convoy to the next locking adventure.
The steady drone of the engine, throb of the propeller, and water rushing by the hull is hypnotic. Unlike the Great Lakes, where you are getting tossed about when you are in the river running in a convoy trying to get to the next lock. Some people might get bored, but not us.
As we are both working, we have meetings during the day while we are running the boat.
Being in a meeting and piloting the boat can be interesting.
It's like living in two completely alternate realities at the same time.
Exactly. There's the reality between your ears of the meeting and normal life and the office, and the reality of your eyes while there are 100-ton barge coming at you, and of course nobody in the office has any idea what you are doing.
They probably think that we're sipping champagne, lounging around half naked in beachwear and Hawaiian shirts while snacking on crackers and cheese.
They have watched too many sailboat channels.
While not in meetings, we invented many ways to keep from being bored.
I tried to film birds on maximum zoom with the Canon, hoping they would be in focus.
I took the GoPro and the selfie stick and shot the boat running from every possible angle. We anchored just outside of Aberdeen Lock for the night.
On the river during the fall, if you got a good anchorage in front of you and it's after 3 p.m., take it.
Running the rivers at night would be pure insanity. It was a nice anchorage. We had lots of room and slept very soundly.
Morning, Captain!
Good morning, Admiral. And where are we this morning?
On another log.
Indeed. The 10 Tom, lock after lock after lock after lock after lock. So this would be the Aberdeen Lock where we anchored last night. And we're going to go a whole 24 miles to Columbus Marina because we want to do laundry and top off the tanks and hit the store for some Yorksie food before we pop down to Demopolis and hop off for the distance run on the 10 Tom.
We had met the rivers. They had challenged us and tested on our boating skills. We had conquered them, and now it was boring and we just wanted to be done.
This confidence will be shattered to pieces in our next episode.
As we neared Columbus, we began to see signs of civilization again.
At Columbus Marina, we did laundry and ran to Walmart in the courtesy car for some Yorksie dog food.
We started our day at the John C. Stannis Lock.
We snagged the front starboard bollard, my favorite spot to be.
Good morning, Captain.
Good morning, Admiral.
How's
And where are we this morning?
In another log.
The John C. Stannis Lock. We have 121 miles of river without civilization. And so we will be running until we find a good anchorage, probably around 3:34, because I don't want to be chasing an anchorage in the dark in this shallow water. And then on to Demopolis, which will be our last stop before 217 miles without civilization. And then we will be in the Gulf of Mexico. What is it, girl? What is it? What's the matter? What is it, Lassie? What is it, Lassie? Is there a boy trapped in the well? Is there a tiger in the yard? Are we in a lock going down? Oh my goodness, what is it? What is it? Yorksie. Danger, danger. It's okay, Boo. It's just a lock. It's like your 50th lock now, and you're still freaking out about it. Where are we going, Yorks? Yorksie, come here. It's okay. Go get him. Tear him out. Tell that baller who's lost.
Motor vessel Checkers, which I called Crackers until Alan explained to me that Crackers had another meaning, upon which it became Checkers Schmeckers.
The doors opened. We waited for the Checker Schmeckers crackers as they have limited maneuverability compared to us.
I'm sure they're eating eggs Benedict and crab cakes with hollandaise sauce for breakfast while drinking mimosas. While running down the river, we got onto the subject of relationships and cruising. On the boat, we are together, close together, 24 hours a day. There is no escaping each other.
I'd love to be able to give couples who want to cruise 10 tips on how to be a successful cruising couple.
The only worthwhile tip is to end up with the right person and work hard at having a perfect relationship. A big part of our success is
being able to read each other's mind
sometimes we just looked at each other
and say the exact same thing in unison.
We are both obsessive about keeping the boat clean and organized.
A clean ship is a happy ship.
Enough about us. If you're a couple watching this and dreaming, what do you need to know?
You have to really like moving and traveling because that's 90% of the loop.
For us, movement is the way of our feelings.
And the more we move, the more we're in touch with our emotions and the closer we come together.
Exactly. To be moving, to be in motion, is to be fully alive. It fills the senses with so many emotions. About 2 in the afternoon, we passed the Warsaw Cut. We were not planning to anchor here, but it was so spectacularly beautiful, we stopped for the night. Good afternoon, Captain.
Good afternoon, Admiral. From Warsaw Cut in the state of Alabama on the beautiful Tennessee Tombigbee Waterway. We are currently anchored about 1/8 of a mile inside the cut, and I have to tell you, this is one of the most beautiful anchorages that we've ever had, and I know that I have said that multiple times about multiple anchorages, but look at this. It's spectacular, and we have it all to ourselves. We got out the fishing pole. Sadly, we only had bait for catfish, and in 25 feet of water, caught nothing, but it didn't matter.
Yorksie got into the act and sunbathed on the foredeck.
The next morning, we passed through the Fulton Lock that was full of water lilies.
These are the famous cliffs of Epps near Epps, Alabama. They are part of the Selma Chalk formations, which were deposited at about the same time as England's famous White Cliffs of Dover.
Having read about all these cliffs in the guidebooks, I expected a really dramatic geological formation, but in all honesty, it was just white chalky rocks for a mile or so. A few miles south of Epps, I caught movement out of the corner of my eye. At first I thought it was a stick, but to my complete amazement, it was a fawn swimming across the river.
This was one of those moments where you get goosebumps and the hair stands up on the back of your neck.
She was so incredibly beautiful and alive.
If you like what you see, please subscribe. It really helps us out and it doesn't cost anything.
We really appreciate your attention and subscription.
So, Darina, how can people find out more about us online?
You can find us on our website page, here, on our Instagram page, here, and also on our Facebook page, here.
Once again, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to be reminded of new episodes when they come out, don't forget to ring that bell.
Thank you so much